The fact that God can come as a man is the foundation for that reconciliation. The fact that God can come to man who is in sin as a man is the foundation for that reconciliation. That shows you the thought pattern. That shows you the idea. That shows you the will and the purpose of God. It shows you the thought pattern. The moment God came to man in man, the moment God came to man in man, it already shows you the thought pattern. It already shows you the idea. Are you following? It already shows you the will and the purpose of God. So, the concept of salvation will always be misread and misunderstood if you don't see it from man. The concept of salvation will always be misread and misunderstood if you don't see it from the man, Christ Jesus. From the man, Christ Jesus. As we go on in this series, we're going to look basically, because we're going to look at how, how this comes into play. We'll explain later. Because there are certain things about redemption that will stagger your mind when we get into those details. It will stagger the mind of any human being. Because the truth is, it is so great salvation. The truth is, it is so great salvation. Listen, Jesus, are you still in the building? Jesus actually paid for man. Spirit, soul, body. Jesus actually paid for man. Spirit, soul, and body. That means everything that was man was involved in the salvation process. Everything that was man was involved in the salvation process. That is, everything God gave to man was involved in the salvation process. And that's what we're going to be dealing with in this series. Everything. And that's why so many Christians do not understand the depth of salvation, because they do not see it as completed by Jesus. That's why you hear people saying, supposing not, if a man does, if a man doesn't do, and they tie salvation to what a man does and what a man doesn't do, because they have not understood the depth. They have not understood the depth of this salvation. So we're going to go into some basics in the course of this series. Some very basics. To know anything precisely from the scriptures, you have to know it from the very substance of the scriptures. To know anything precisely from the scriptures, you must know it from the very substance of the scriptures. Luke 24:25. Luke 24:25. Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And this was on the way to Emmaus. He met two disciples of his. He met two disciples of his on the way to Emmaus. Now look at the way the disciples thought. Look at the thinking pattern of the disciples. Now, in order for you to appreciate why I am making this illustration, remember, Jesus spent all of his time with these disciples. Taught them, ate with them, sent them to preach. They saw miracles in his name. Taught them many things by parables. Slept with them. Was with them. He died and all of them forgot everything. He died and all of them forgot everything. Now, look at the way they reasoned. Luke 24:19. And that is to show you that a man can be in church all his life and has never understood John 3:16. All his life. He is quoting it and singing it, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because if these guys were physically with Jesus and were taught by Jesus himself and pastored by Jesus himself, and yet when he died, look at the gibberish. Look at the gibberish they were vomiting. Luke 24, give me verse 19. And he said unto them, what things? Because they said to Jesus, are you a stranger in town? Are you not aware of the things that happened these past days? And Jesus said to them, they are rebuking Jesus. Oh, what things? And they said unto him concerning Jesus of Nazareth. Look at their evaluation. Which was a prophet. Which was a prophet. As far as they are concerned, Jesus, Elijah, and Jeremiah were in the same class. So they never knew who he was. For all the time they were with him, then you can imagine why some pastors don't even know who Jesus is. They preach business success. They preach how to make it. They preach relationship and all. They preach marriage antibiotics. They preach how to survive COVID-19. But they don't know Christ.